Mikel, good afternoon.
Hello.
Any fresh injury concerns after Wednesday?
No, nothing new.
And you mentioned before the game that Kai Havertz and Martin Odegaard had a chance for this weekend. What's the latest with them? Are they available?
Well, we have to wait till tomorrow, but there is a big possibility that they are available for the game.
It's fantastic news. Bukayo Saka, talking about fantastic news, new contract for him. A lot of your key players have committed their long-term futures to the club, but did this one in particular feel a little bit extra special?
I think they are all very important. We are very happy that the players are feeling in such a strong way about the club and what we are doing and the way they feel treated and the fact that they can continue to improve and win what we want to win together. And Bukayo's news obviously is great. He's one of our own. We got him here since he was very, very little, and for him to make that decision and the club to be so aligned with him, I think it's a really positive thing.
Mikel, was clearly an emotional end to the night at Molineux on Wednesday. I'm sure you've seen the headlines. Arsenal have blown it, Arsenal are bottling it. But from what you've seen with your players, how have they reacted since? And have you seen anything in the mentality since then and over the past couple of weeks that's concerned you or worried you at all?
What I've seen is a tremendous reaction again, and I'm not surprised at all. I mean, when you lose points, or in the last kick of the game again, in a very unpredictable manner, I would say, because to predict somebody with a 0.2 expected goals probably and one shot to concede an equalizer the manner that we did it is nobody can really understand that. But this is football, and that's the beauty of it. And that was a chapter. So we have a long season. Chapter 27 says, okay, we draw against Wolves in this manner. What I'm very interested is about the next one. Is what we are made of. Okay, what do we do about this, and how we write our own destiny from here and going forward. And that's it. And you have to react to that because life moves on. The result has to stay unfortunate as it was. There is nothing else we can do. What we can do is a lot. Is what's going to happen next.
Talking about chapters, if you looked at the fans at the end of that game, they looked totally crestfallen, like it may be the end for Arsenal, but clearly there's still a long way to go. What would your message be to those fans just now?
Because the immediate reaction is tough, you know. You put so much, you look at the first half and actually what happened in the game, even I was very post-match as well about the standards that we showed. It was much better than expected, but it's still not enough to the standards that we required. Very difficult to understand. So it is a shock in the system, but they've been incredibly good without. And we wanted to give them the victory. We couldn't, and we have to move on.
You say move on. It's a small matter of a North London derby next. Tottenham Hotspur may see this as an opportunity to dent your title chances, but from your perspective, is this almost maybe the perfect fixture for Arsenal after what's happened in the last couple of games?
It's the one we have after, and it's the one that we cannot wait to play. If we could play today, I think we would all love to play today to get that feeling that we have in our tummies and use it in the right way, and we'll have to show on Sunday.
How big a challenge is it preparing for this game, particularly that they've got a new manager? Because I'm sure you would have prepared for Tottenham Hotspur knowing that Thomas Frank is in charge, and this is now his first game in Igor Tudor.
Well, I think it's happened 7 times already to us this season, so we are getting used to it. We have analyzed everything that he's done in his career, in different clubs, different formations, the players that they have available, and from there, of course, we will have the capacity to adapt in relation to what the game requires, but the main focus as well is on what we have to do to win.
Finally, for me, Mikel, I'm sure you've seen the incident in midweek involving Vinicius Junior. Just more on a general theme, have you had conversations with your players if an incident like that was to arise during a game, and have you spoken about what would happen in an instance like that? For example, if they said, I want to walk off the pitch, I don't want to play, is that something that you'd back, that you'd support?
Well, that's why we have meetings with the Premier League or UEFA before the season starts to make sure that everybody is very aware of the protocols and what we expect from each other. Obviously, there is no room for racism in this sport. I think we need to stick to that. And then the manner of acting, I think you have to go case by case to understand what's the best option.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll go to Sarah from the front.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
Obviously, it's easy to overanalyze things when a team drops points. But I want to talk about something you just mentioned to Sky there about conceding late. The late goal against Wolves, obviously no one could have predicted that, and it came from a very random situation. But we've got Villa, Liverpool, Sunderland and Man United, goals conceded after the 80-minute mark. Do you believe these are all isolated incidences or mistakes? Or do you believe that towards the end of the match, maybe Arsenal defend too much, soak up too much pressure, and there's something that can be fixed?
I think every game has had different situations. We have one as well against Palace in the Carabao Cup as well in the 90-something. So yeah, there are different situations to analyze. Certainly, it's not the intention to defend any result. That's not the mindset of the players, and they have to be creative with opposition. And sometimes because you are not doing exactly what the game demands in certain aspects with the ball, which is more what happened on that one, but soaking pressure without conceding a single shot as well, which is the reality of what happened. The Villa one was, in my opinion, very different the last 7 or 8 minutes of that game.
We've seen Zubimendi and Timber's stats, they're the highest outfield players for their minutes this season, and we could say, as we approach 12 games left, they're looking fatigued and their level of drop, which is normal.
For me, they look great.
Yeah, but they do, obviously, it's normal for some players to drop. But I've asked you previously about Norgard, I'm going to ask you again. When it comes to sometimes when players do that regular drop in performance, what are you assessing ahead of picking your team that maybe Norgard can't come in sometimes and replace Zubimendi?
Well, we played with Christian. Declan has played there as well. We have changed a lot of players in the team. So it's depending on the kind of game that we expect. Who do we believe is in the best condition? And that's, as you said, physically, mentally, or technically and tactically to deliver what we required.
Ian, talk to.
Hi Mikel, how are you?
Good, thank you.
While over the last 48 hours, as you've already been asked, people are saying, have Arsenal bottled it or blown the title? I was wondering, is everybody losing a bit of perspective here? Because you're still 5 points clear at the top, you're still through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, you're still into a League Cup final, and still in the FA Cup. Do you think the wider world are losing a bit of perspective and having a go?
No, because I think everybody has his own opinion and his perspective is the right one. I think if we all have an individual book, I don't know what your book would say, what you predicted 3 months ago, 5, 7, 8, it will be very interesting to go through yours and understand how you predict it or how you see the season going. We have ourselves a very clear instruction is we have to live the present. Now what we did in the past is great, but we have to live the present, and the present is beautiful. We are exactly what we want to be in every competition, and what is there to play, we need to earn it like we've done in the last 7 or 8 months.
So you're a better manager now than you were this time last year. Is it just now for you about keeping calm, keeping everybody else here calm?
Yeah, keeping calm, keeping my eyes open, my ears open, and understanding what the players need to give their best. That's it. And what the things that we have to tweak every day, every game, to keep doing what we are doing, which is winning a lot of games and being in the position that we want to be.
Final one from me. You used 4 words just now, which I thought were very interesting. Write your own destiny. Arsenal's players want to write their own destiny. For me, this North London derby is one of the biggest in decades. I know they've won the title at White Hart Lane, but with Spurs possibly in a relegation fight, you go for the title. Is it the biggest North London derby for a long, long time?
I don't know. For us, it's the most important one because it's the one that we have in a few days' time, and the one that is going to give us the chance to be closer to achieve what we want.
Good luck.
Alex, BBC.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
Supporters will be expecting a reaction after a disappointing result in midweek. It's going to be a tense and emotional game in the North London derby, as it always is. Can you use those feelings in a positive way?
Well, that's what we are trying to do, and that's the instant reaction. First of all is pain, and after that is, okay, what can I do about it? And that's it. That is not any other thing that we have to do. Now what we have to do is perform on the pitch. The words are clear. I was a player. Love me when I draw or when I lose. When I win, to love you when I win is very, very easy. You have to love the players and be next to them when they need it the most.
Did you have to love them a lot after the game the other night? You were seen trying to keep the players calm towards the back. And were you surprised with how the tension or the game situation seemed to get to your players?
No, because I know how much they want it, and that's part of it. And when you are so keen to achieve what you want to do, and you are putting so much throughout the season, every single day, to get closer and closer to your objective, you are living with that passion. That's very normal.
And this one is off the pitch. I'm not sure if you've seen it. Wolves posted a TikTok mocking the way the game played out the other night and how things fell for you.
Mm.
Have you seen it, and what do you make of situations like that when clubs post things towards other clubs?
No, what I read is the press conference of Rob, their manager, before the game, and what he said about us, and then what he texted me, that he thinks that we are the best team in the league by far. I'm much more interested about that than any other thing that I don't know who posts or whatever, especially because I don't read it.
We'll go to Tom from Reach.
Hi Mikel. Can I ask you about game states and the idea of taking one goal leads in games? What are the core principles for you when your team takes a lead in the game? What do you want to follow next? I know that game states throughout different periods.
I scored the second and the third one.
What were you expecting your players to go on to achieve that next goal?
Well, attack better, be more dominant in the high press, dominate all the restarts of play, don't give unnecessary fouls, so the goalkeeper can start to put balls in the last line and put the two centre backs up, dominate all the chaos situation, all the things that we want to do, keep the ball under pressure.
Since the start of the last season, Arsenal dropped 28 points from winning positions in games. What have you identified from the analysis, from the retrospect, that has led to that, and what's being done to kind of address that?
That if we address that, we are the best team in the world and unstoppable, because we will be 30 points or 32 points ahead of everybody else.
Athletic.
Hi, Mikel. You mentioned margins after the Wolves game, and it's a word you've used before as well. I was wondering, when you look at those margins and wanting to widen them, is it something you see as something happening by chance with goals, or is it deeper than that?
Goals for or against?
Both.
Well, against very unpredictable to predict the kind of goals that we conceded. The Brentford one from a throw-in, much more. What we can do before that to prevent that happening is still improvable. And in attacking process, yeah, the first half are very different outcomes. In the second half as well, very, very open situation. We didn't even finish with a chance, so a lot of room to improve.
And just on Saka and Havertz, you said Havertz has a possibility of being available, and both of those players have played as some number 10s recently. Yeah. I was just wondering, with them both available, would you, I guess, like using them in a combination that you haven't so far? So, I don't know, with Kai being able to play
yeah.
those positions.
We can. Depends as well on the availability of those players in terms of the load that he can absorb. Bukayo was okay to start the game, but we knew that he could not finish the game, so we had to get him out because probably he was going to start to cramp or take a risk with the previous injury that he had, and we didn't want to do that. So depending the state of the player, how much we can use them.
Okay, we'll do the last couple now. Matt from Standard.
Hi Mikel. Is Leo okay for Sunday? Look like
Yeah, he's fine, yeah.
And you've had a lot of big players sign long-term contracts over the last 6 months. Obviously shows the faith they have in the club. Do you need to now win trophies for that to remain in place and players to still be convinced that this is the right place?
Well, up to now, that hasn't been the driving force probably for them to make that decision. So we will see from here forward. I don't know.
And for the players, obviously this is the 4th season in a row now you're coming into this time of the season, still being in the thick end of the title race. Do you think it's becoming mentally tougher, or is it sort of an advantage having had those experiences?
I think it's becoming more and more exciting, because that means that you are closer. The more repeatedly you are in these kind of positions, you're going to win it. The same in the Champions League. You don't get to the quarterfinals for, how long was 20 years? Or semi-final, it's impossible. You have no chance. You can dream whatever, but you have no chance. So first of all, you have to be there, and then in April or May, it will get decided who is the best, who can get over the line.
Okay, James, yes.
Hi Mikel, you mentioned the XG of that first Wolves goal, and you conceded a lot of low XG goals this season, more than I think any other team if you got the data right. Can you explain why that's happening? Is this a coincidence, or is it, is there something you're doing wrong?
Probably a bit of both. I mean, we would have to go goal by goal, but somebody from a really low scoring position can put the ball in the top bin. What are the odds for that to happen? Also, it's like putting the ball in the top corner and costs you points. I don't know, depends, and the players here in this league, they have a lot of quality as well. That's a credit to them.
And you can see sort of quite a high proportion of your shots and XG and chances from outside the box. Can you be the best team defending in the penalty area and still be the best team defending outside the penalty area?
Yeah, that's what we want. There are certain margins there in terms of when we approach the player, the space that you cover in relation to the defender and the keeper. So there are things that we are constantly working on and try to improve them.